the Google Doc for the stuff I'm going to talk about. And there's some links at the bottom for some research and a list of books if you're interested in. So starting about why you might want to meditate, as Ambika, as you said earlier, if you have a lot of stuff inside, like your inner dialogue or maybe like a critic inside, having a steady meditation practice might alleviate the constant like conversations you might have with yourself. There's health benefits as well in regards to stress reduction and inflammation. If you're looking at the document, reduction of stress levels through various techniques may be beneficial for your physical and mental health. It'll help you maintain your attention anchored in the present, so you're not focused on the past or worried about the future, but you're living more fully in the moment now and understanding what that means entirely. Continued and prolonged practice of effortful self-reflection and self-control for cognitive improvement and general lifestyle changes. Relaxation for reducing physiological stress, allowing your body to heal. And it's something that you can do just because you have the time and it has good benefit for you. Some stuff that might happen too is when you sit and start doing nothing for a long period of time, if you believe in like somatic energy and experiences, as you experience life, events in your life are stored in your memory as either, if they're positive and negative, they're negative, but they're also stored in your body in a somatic way. So if it's a negative experience, it might be a painful location in your body. And if it's a positive experience, it'll be like a blissful feeling or sensation. And as you have traumatic or important events in your life, as you live, those memories and those energies kind of get stuck in place and become stagnant. So if you just sit, and it might happen, it's happened to me for a few things, but the energy will flow and kind of work its way out in different channels. So if you're sitting, you might have like a flashback or a memory of something from a long time ago that you haven't thought about, but for some reason it's still there and kind of eating away at your subconscious. So that potentially might be a benefit for you too, to clear out any type of unhealthy things that you're still holding on to. From my background, like meditation and yoga, like yoga is to bring together the mind and body, or yoga, but it was the practice of asana and yoga was initially just to be able to sit longer in meditation. Before we have society like we do now, the world used to have a ton of time to sit around and kind of think about stuff and inquire about what like life is and who we are or what we are. So with different types of practices, there's many different types. And I'll talk about a couple that I know about. Samatha, S-A-M-A-T-H, is a Buddhist meditation. It goes along with Vipassana. And Samatha is the starting point before getting to Vipassana. But Samatha is your mind calming and like getting rid of your thoughts and practicing and acquiring a state of focus, of maintaining like a one-pointed centeredness of your focus and not having it drift frequently. Vipassana is a insight meditation. So after you have a foundation of having a clear mind and understanding that your thoughts can come and go and not getting pulled away with your thoughts with that, you focus on insight, and your awareness goes from the tip of your nose or your enter and exiting of your breath with samatha and a full body awareness and feeling of sensations that you have going on in your body. Zazen is a Zen type, a Buddhist Zen type meditation focused on emptiness or non-thinking. So as you sit, you just focus on nothing. It might start off counting your breath, counting inhales and exhales, and doing that over and over again. And the redundancy gets very boring until you just let go of everything. And you might experience some type of, they're called kenshos or satori, where your consciousness kind of changes and it might light up in a way, and your connection to your ego might just melt away and you might experience something else entirely. Body scanning, you're going to go through your body, and usually you start from your head and you work your way down in very small parts. So you visualize maybe like a ball or something, and you just go through your body and you take notice of how you feel in different areas of it. And if you feel bad in one area, you mentally can send, and I'll try to keep it secular and not like spiritual, but you can mentally send like good thoughts or intentions to that spot where you might feel pain or something distressing. When you visualize stuff, I can't do that because I have aphantasia, so my mind's eye is empty, but I guess you can close your eyes and you can imagine things. And a lot of the visualization techniques go through like chakra type stuff. So you can imagine going through your chakras or different parts of your body, or imagine a person or object in your head and just focus on them or something about yourself that you want to work with.
Sorry, Spencer, did you say you have aphantasia? What is that? I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's so like if you close your eyes and you can imagine like an apple, and you might like see an apple in like the black space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? I've got nothing going on. Mine just stays dark entirely. So I can't visualize.
Well, yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Is it common, or
What's that?
is it common amongst people, or pretty rare?
I don't know a lot about it actually. I didn't learn it until it was a thing until pretty recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's how it's like experiencing life one way, and then you talk to someone and their experience is way different, and you realize, oh, so
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if that helps with meditation somehow, because I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean it might be. I'm sure it has its benefits, and then its setbacks as well. So.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, I was just curious.
Oh yeah. Yoga nidra is usually laying down, and it's kind of a thing you do before sleep, and it's a guided meditation, much like a body scan, and you just go through your body, bringing your awareness to different areas of your body. You go very, very slow, starting with like your big toe, then you go through all your toes, and you go through your leg, and you work up to your other leg and go through all your body. And by the time you're done, after like 45 minutes, you're feeling really relaxed, and it puts you in a nice state right before you go to bed, so you can sleep very deeply and well. Transcendental meditation, or mantra meditation. So transcendental meditation is it's more of an institution. You might have heard of it. You go and you pay them money, and they give you a mantra, and you sit, and during that time you recite your mantra. How that works is what they tell you are nonsensical like phrases that kind of rhyme and sound I don't know, like whimsical, I guess. And the point of that is when you say that, it just kind of distracts your mind to help you. So your mind's focusing on one thing while you're sitting, and you have the focus on your mind so that when your thoughts come, you have your mantra meditation that you're doing, and you can skip away from any thoughts you have and go back to your mantra. Walking meditations and mindfulness kind of go together. So mindfulness is trying to be present with everything that you do. And usually that entails doing one thing at a time and having your focus on whatever's going on. So if it's walking, you're focusing on every step you're taking. If it's eating, you're focusing on every bite and tasting the food for all the flavors that it is. And you can tie that lifestyle into pretty much anything that you're doing at the time. The Vietnamese monk, Nick That Han, is a good author if you want to read about any type of mindfulness. Moving into correct posture when you're meditating. The main idea is you want your spine erect. So usually you're gonna be sitting down, and you can sit on the floor or in a chair. If you're in a chair, just make sure you're sitting upright. Your shoulders are gonna be pulled back a bit, so your chest is open and your head's up, and your head's not too up or not too down, but kind of looking straight ahead. You can sit in lotus or half lotus, which is your knees crossed, with one foot on top of the other, or them both up on top, if you can get into that position. For your eyes open, it's probably easier to meditate with your eyes closed, but you can go either way with your eyes open. If you start meditating with your eyes open, then when you get into higher stages of meditative states or consciousness states, when you have more like dullness or distractions that appear in jhanas, and jhana is Jhana, and that's a stage of meditation. So when you get into different stages of meditation, if you're starting with your eyes open, it's easier ideally to stay focused and not get distracted or pulled into the dullness of it. If you need a place to put your tongue, you can put your tongue at the tip of your mouth where your front teeth and your soft palate meet. And the reason for that in a lot of ways is if your body is a circuit, that connection completes the circuit of your body. Another place to put your tongue is the Kakari Mudra, which is you roll your tongue back and it goes to the top of your nasal cavity. If ever, when you guys are sitting and a lot of times your legs will go numb, a way to help alleviate that is you can put your hand on the numb knee or leg and your other hand on the foot. And hopefully after some time, the pain or the loss of feeling in your leg will come back and you can stay sitting. You guys want to talk about anything I just mentioned? All right. So some things to keep in mind before you start to sit is to find a comfortable and quiet place to sit. And to think of it as just like a practice. It doesn't really matter and have no expectations of it. You're just doing it for yourself with no preconceived benefit, but open to any experiences you might have while sitting. When your thoughts come, I think a good analogy is if you're on like the bank of the shore, your thoughts might come floating by. Don't get attached to them. start thinking about what you had for dinner or how you treated that person yesterday or what you're going to do tomorrow. If you can, when that distraction comes and happens, you become aware of it and I'm distracted, and then you go back to meditation of your your breath or whatever you're doing during meditation. When you guys meditate, or any time to meditate, it's a good time to meditate if you have time. I personally like to meditate in the morning and at nighttime, and I think a lot of people have a practice that way. That way, you start your day off with a blank slate, and you're not harboring any like ill feelings or negativity from maybe dreams you had or something that happened yesterday. And then at nighttime, you can sit and meditate too, and you can go through how your day went and let go of anything that happened, or if you made some mistakes, bring those to your attention and learn from that and correct yourself for the future. That just kind of do that daily growth, so you can start your night activities with a blank slate as well.
How long do you typically meditate during those sessions in the morning and the night?
So I have a ton of free time, and I will sit for like an hour each time.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, it's not a big deal. Um, so
Are you on the path to try to increase that amount of time, or are you kind of content with the 1 hour?
I'm content with an hour each session. I'm super happy to get any time in, and if I make an hour or 2 hours a day, that's great. Um, it's it's interesting for me because um, I got into meditation. I went to the Vipassana course a few years ago, and what that is, it's like a 10-day silent retreat where you go and you eat like very meager vegetarian food, and you sit for 10 hours a day, and you're segregated by gender, and you don't talk to people. And I didn't make it through all 10 days. It got too intense for me, so I had driven there and I left and just took off. But from that beginning, um, I'm under the firm belief and understanding that there's different levels of consciousness to experience and ways to think and live, and a lot of that can be attained through like being a good person and meditating and like general openness. So for me right now, I think that 2 hours a day is a decent effort to reach any type of, I don't know, whatever is possible, I guess. But a lot
Thanks.
of people, yeah, some people will do like a mini retreat on the weekends and sit for like 4 or 5 hours within their like daily practice of 2 hours.
Do you think you've seen any changes in how you react to situations, like especially negative situations? Do you feel like as a person, your reactions are less intense ever since you started meditating?
I do feel that entirely. Um, there's the psychologist, the humanist, Abraham Maslow. He talks about uh, self-realization, and a lot of the most beneficial way to achieve growth in that regard is through peak experiences. Um, and what peak experiences are come down to like religious or spiritual or mystical experiences within self in regards to yourself and like, I don't know, ego dissolution. So for me, not solely, but I attribute meditation, um, like effort and conscious living, and then probably like a lot of grace uh, for my own growth and letting go of like quick negative responses and any type of uh, like super selfish behavior patterns. Yeah. All right, so I am going to teach you a meditation style, and it's broken down into 3 stages. So each stage is about 6 minutes long. And how it's going to work is find a comfortable position to sit in. And when you're breathing, you're going to start breathing in stage 1. You're going to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. With your inhale, you're going to fill your headspace, or you'll mentally say, ah. So inhale, ah, and you'll exhale through your mouth, va. But you're not talking, you're just mentally ah and mentally va. Right? And then with each breath too, you're going to alternate touching or tapping your fingers. So ah, va, ah, va. And that is stage 1. Stage 2, you're going to stop tapping your fingers and you'll just keep them with your index finger and thumb touching, with your hands on top of your knees. And you're still going to inhale ah through your nose, and you'll exhale va through your mouth mentally. And stage 3, you're going to stop mentally saying ah and va, and you'll breathe through your nose entirely. So inhale and exhale through your nose, and that'll be it for the rest of the time. So, and all right, do you guys have any questions before we begin? All right. I am going to mute myself too. And then as we change stages, I'll hit my little bowl thing, and I'll let you know we're moving to a different stage, and I'll remind you what that stage is. All right, so come into a good posture, sit however you're sitting, with your back straight, your spine erect. You're gonna have your hands with your back of your palms on your knees or your legs, and you're gonna inhale through your nose, ah, and exhale through your mouth, va. And with every breath, you'll just tap your fingers for stage 1. All right, and begin. Just
Went by pretty quick, actually.
yeah, quick 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I think at this time, if you guys want to talk about your experience or have any questions, or feel free to discuss if you had any trouble during that session, or if you had any sensations or feelings or strange thoughts come up, or if it was just really awesome.
I think I definitely struggled the first 2, but then by the last one, it was a lot quieter in my head.
Cool.
But yeah, the first one was probably the worst. I was just thinking about all sorts of things, and then it got better the second one, and then yeah, I think the ava thing really helped since you had something to focus on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the gradual, like you have something to focus on, then you slowly take that away, like the training wheels and taking them off.
Nice.
I feel like in the first segment I did struggle with how to pace myself, because more often than not, the other meditation techniques that I've explored sort of ease you into the self-driven path. So first you have somebody to set the pace for you, let's say if you're doing, I know ah and wow was supposed to be in the mind and not spoken out aloud, but doing that with the group sort of sets the pace with the breath. And then you have, once you have set the pace with the breath, and then you let the group go on its own. And since if you have done this, like I know myself that maybe at the 10th minute, my mind starts to wander away a little bit. So that's when you do the interventions of, the thing that you said about imagining your thoughts as things flowing in a river, and you just let them by and don't pick them up, let them flow in the river. So insert that tidbit into the 10th minute, because probably that's the place people start wandering away into other thoughts. So build the pace, guide the flow using known pain points. Like this is where people start losing concentration. This is where they start probably opening eyes and checking, hey, is everyone still doing it? And then use these things to guide it towards the end.
How often do you do that group meditation, crowd?
I in the last few weeks, I've been doing it every Monday evening, 6 to 7, with a group on Zoom.
Do you like that more than, or do you do like independent solo meditations too?
I think I like the group ones better, even if it's on Zoom.
Why?
I guess there is a more humane element to it than Headspace. Headspace is nice. The techniques are very relevant, and it's pretty much on demand. But in my experience, nothing beats a meditation group if done well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Cool.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on guided meditation. Like if you've used that to start with, or like guided versus non-guided, pros and cons, I guess.
What are my thoughts on guided meditation?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, like, whatever is good for you. Like, it's very subjective, and it's a experimental experience. For myself, I don't do a lot of guided meditations now. I just like to sit, like usually in nature by like a tree, and but I think they're really good in general. There's a lot, there's a ton of like stuff that you can look up or listen to or make up your own meditation. Like there's no right way for it. I think that if you have a specific issue or a hang up or a setback that you're aware that you want to work on, you can probably find a guided meditation for that. One of my favorite ones is metta meditations. So metta is like loving kindness, and you go through the meditation and it prompts you to think about someone that you love like very intimately, and then someone that you kind of are an acquaintance with and feel love for them too, and then someone that you don't know at all and then feel love for that person as well. So my take on that is it expands my capacity to love in general, and the whole concept of like agape love and viewing everyone as myself, in the sense that like we all share the same like human consciousness, and just helps me to be a nicer person.
This sounds familiar. Did you come across this at a class in San Francisco? The metta meditation?
No, metta is very widely known and used, but I'm sure there's tons of like groups that you can go to. I know there's like a Zen temple for Zazen, and there's probably I think a lot of like Tibetan and meta meditations, they have scheduled times like weekly or daily for it, because the idea is collectively all the, like your thoughts in your mind have more substance than what, like they're like a form, they carry like an energetic wave with them. And so if everyone meditates at the same time, then it does good stuff.
I wanted, go ahead.
I was just or you can go ahead, but I had just the question. I'm curious how you got into meditation from like nothing to like a regular practice. What was that process like? The initial inception.
Back in 2016, I think I started using Headspace. And so it was like a 10 for 10 thing where you go through 10 days and they start you out. And then shortly after that, I went to Vipassana, which was like the 10-day retreat. And I couldn't make it through that, but I felt it was good. And I don't know, if a term like spiritual implies that there's something beyond like our human nature of the body and mind, then something happened where I became aware of something else impacting my life. And it started with meditation, and then that frequency and ability to either recognize it or imagine it increased with more meditation. So I kind of like jumped in to the waters with Vipassana in the retreat, and then started drowning and I got out, but I knew it was good for me. So I started to go into the woods for a long time and meditate for a long time.
Do you recommend specific meditation retreats?
Specific retreats? I mean, well, I don't think they're going on now because of like COVID and the pandemic, but if you have time to do like a 10-day or a 3-day, it's definitely worthwhile. I think any type of practice where you can exert your discipline about what you think you need will be beneficial, whether it's like fasting and realizing I don't have to eat every like 6 hours, or it's silent meditation where you realize I don't have to talk all the time, or finding out that you can sit for 10 hours and be okay. And with that too, I think a lot of it is helpful to just be with yourself for such a long time and learn to be like okay with that.
Yeah, I feel like technology has added just a whole new layer of difficulty to this, because I think even if you meditate for an hour in the morning, I'm sure it's super helpful. But then I think when you start the cycle of meetings and your phone lighting up, I think it's all very tempting to just not do one thing at a time, do the total opposite, and have your mind be fragmented amongst all these activities. So yeah, I think something that I struggle with is during those working hours or where there's a lot going on, how do I still intentionally do one thing at a time, or not eat with the show, just eat and not do anything else, not check my phone, not talk to anyone. But I think if I did do that, like fold it into my actual daily activities, I think it would be helpful, and not just the meditating hour, but also living my like my life a little bit differently. Just a thought I had.
Yeah. I was listening to this series of lectures about karma yoga. So yoga has different sort of streams. So yoga as a whole is this like a bunch of philosophies in a packet, and one of those is karma yoga. And often it seems that we are stuck between what to do. Do I want to go meditate? Do I want to learn as much as I can about different techniques, or do I just live and get on with my daily life? And it seems that in the path, in what they say, the path to spiritual excellence, I don't know the English term for that, you can choose either of these things and still be okay. For example, if you choose the path of bhakti yoga, you would it's very spiritual and slightly, well, very religious leaning, whatever religion it is for you. If you do Gyan Yoga, you might be spending most of your time learning what there is to learn about technique, what techniques to use, and different, pretty much like techniques, pretty much. But I think what is very relevant for us in this modern day and age is Karma Yoga. And what they teach in Karma Yoga is how to reason about, well, your work, your purpose in life, and how to tie different things together. And I think I find it very useful to reason about my daily life, and even the smaller activities is reason about smaller activities as, is it contributing to my purpose? If it is contributing to my purpose, it is dharma. If it is not contributing to my purpose, it is adharma. What my purpose is very subjective. Everybody has their own purpose, so you're free to set that. So I feel that reasoning helps me.
I like that. You mentioned like sitting down and eating and not having TV on, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's kind of just practicing discipline, and it's like you're bored kind of, and so have the TV on and do a couple things at one time. But I feel like for me at least, that at a certain point in time there becomes a greater sense of joy and pleasure of doing one thing at a time, or being focused, or eating every bite like intensely, and definitely having a meditation practice has helped me to like cultivate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mindful eating was a struggle when I tried it.
Yeah.
My university had this program where they made us eat pretzels mindfully, eat individual pretzel pieces, like ye big, like keep it in your mouth, don't chew. Oh my God, that was a struggle. It is something very tasty, and then you can't chew. You have to like let it be for a while.
Yeah, I tried this one. I think it's called khichdi. It's an Indian dish. It's just rice and lentils. It might be what you had in the 10 days. I know that's usually what they use for those retreats, but I tried doing a cleanse with that for like 5 days, and because I used to eat a lot of sugar and dessert. So they said that would help you by just eating small meals and only eating that. And it really helped. Yeah, I think that was like, even your relationship with food and your relationship with technology, it's often indulgence or like the next distraction. So paying attention to what you eat and not having it govern your life was helpful for me. So it's just, yeah, it's interesting to see how all of these things in your day, like what you eat, how you wake up. I think we all reach for our phone when we wake up. So like, yeah, all of our habits, how as a whole they govern our life, but individually it doesn't seem like a big deal that you just reach for your phone, but then it actually has a huge domino effect on the rest of your day.
Yeah, I agree with that. With so much external stimulus and even like extravagant stuff, like all the sugar, that if you stop eating sugar I'm guessing that your taste buds became more sensitive.
Definitely, yeah.
Relationship with food enhanced and stuff like that. So.
I'm always curious about like one thing. So, how come meditation you always have to close your eyes? Like, because I feel like I find myself like having a blank mind when I can just like look out the window and like space out without necessarily eyes closed. I guess I'm wondering, like, what does that mean if like I find it easier to open my eyes? Like, I guess like looking out the window and feel more calm that way. Like, is that also meditation, or is it like you have to be more like eyes closed and like do the thing?
I would just keep them open and Coco, if that's your preference. Yeah. Grab, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, in the other courses I've other styles that I have been through, the only recommendation is if you want to keep your eyes open, have a soft gaze on a fixed spot. So soft gaze is the important part.
There's lots of I guess they're probably asana practices where you like stare at fire or like a flame or like the moon and sit like that for a long time. But yeah, there's nothing, you don't have to close your eyes. I think it's just kind of, when people think about meditation, they think eyes closed and very boring. So
I remember I was prescribed a meditation, well, not meditation, some yoga asana practice, which was I was supposed to keep my eyes open and stare at plants, like necessarily something green.
yeah.
Like pretty much eyes open. And
yeah, if you can get to like a headspace where everything you see is like new and like your eyes are eating it or devouring it, I don't know, then I don't know, it just becomes something like a really beautiful way to live where you see life for, I don't know, the great or awesomeness that it is, and not just get bored with every like the monotony or get upset about the people on the streets and stuff like that. But I think that deals with compassion too a bit. So who's gonna meditate tomorrow?
Definitely. Cool. Yeah. Got the day off.
Yeah. I think like even like 5 minutes a day when you wake up is super beneficial for a lot of people, and then increase that if you want to later on. I would check out some guided meditations. I would recommend a woman named Anna Forrest. It's Forrest. I think she's got like 1 10-minute meditation on YouTube. That's really good. It's about feeling love. And like apps wise, Headspace is a good app. Insight Timer is a good app. I did list some books as well. By Dan Harris is 10% Happier, and it talks about his initial adventure into meditation and what he got from that. Waking Up by Sam Harris is another good book. The Mind Illuminated by John Yates is a structured like template for meditation and to what you can expect and the different stages that you can reach and what comes along with that. So at some point in time, you might experience like just complete bliss, and that may carry with you throughout the day. The Path to Nibbana is another good book for beginning meditation. I linked Mindfulness in Plain English and With Each and Every Breath. Those are good for beginning as well. Full Catastrophe Living is a book to help deal with loss, grief, and any other type of like negative hangups you might have. And I think that's all that I had planned for this session, guys. But,
Thank you so much. It was really helpful.
cool. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
hosting.
you.
Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving. Have a good night.
Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Take care.
Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Night.